Hey guys, it's Vanity Ezel by Vanguard, as in the Vanity weekly reviews. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and sorry. This time we are covering more reviews for DZ Set 8. We have the final reveal of Youthberk rebuild in this set, and we also have some nice cards for Set 8 in general, so let's get started and see what we have. First of today, we have our Abrasive Denizia, Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto back or rear guard circle. When your Vanguard's attacked by retiring this unit, choose when your Vanguards get 5 power for the turn. Cool, it's a nice way that it can increase the Vanguard's power by 5k, and all it has to do is retire itself. It's a little bit annoying that this is this thing's only ability. It would be nice if it had a second ability, but hey, it is what it is. And for some reason, this gives me faith that Black Demire Next is going to have a skill that retires your rear guards to get power. I don't know why my heart says that, it just does. So 2 copies of this because who knows, maybe my heart is right and I just want to say it is. Then we have a Gardener's Treasure, a card that is a shame that is not a set order. Grade 1 normal order, perform one of the following. Either call a plant token to rear guard for free, or retire 1 plant token. To check the top 3, choose up to 1 card with grade less than equal to your Vanguard, reveal it, put it to hand, shuffle your deck. So this card either gets you a random card from your top 3 cards, or gets you a plant token. Whichever one you pick, it does it for free. Honestly, that's a pretty good order. Again, I feel like it would have been fine. This was just a set order, and its skill was rested to call a plant token, because, I mean, it's just 1 rear guard, and yeah, 1 rear guard can turn into an endgame threat. But, I mean, hey, it still would have been nice, but I'll take what I can get because again, it's a free plant token or top 3 research, so take it as you will. Possibly 2 of tech and a lot of stuff with K decks. That brings us to Thumbs Up for Brar. Grade 2 and set 5k shield, 10k base, act rear guards, Flam G support. So if your Vanguards are grade 3 rear guard Flam Glam, retire this unit, choose a normal unit Flam Glam as card name from your drop zone, call it to rear guard circle, and if your opponent's Vanguards are grade 3 rear guard, you get 5,000 power. Honestly, that's pretty solid. She herself, while not being a Flam Glam, allows you to fetch any Flam Glam that ended up into your drop zone. Therefore, you can have more Flam Glams with different names on the board for Regia to be able to get that superior standoff, and it gives the unit call possibly 5k as well. Honestly, not a bad grade 2 at all. I love her utility. I think she's good for the deck, and she does it all for free, only retiring herself as a cost. So she's a solid 2 over 3 of in a Flam Glam deck. The only downside is she doesn't have Flam Glam in her name herself, but her being able to call something out from drop zone makes up for it. That takes us over to a card that I was originally 50-50 on, and then I read her skill more because I didn't remember how Rogia works, and I was like, okay, the card works. And then I read her name and was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing, and that's because she's actually a Flam Glam, and that is Flam Glam supporting drum Rimril. So automatically, she's already at least a 3 of on the grounds of she has Flam Glam in the name, meaning, you know, you can now use her more consistently with the rest of the deck. But grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto back or rear guard center specifically. When she boosts anything, if your Vanguards are grade 3 guard or Glam come in the card name, this unit gets 5,000 power for the battle. And if your opponent's Vanguards are grade 3 guard, at the end of that battle, ditch a hand card and retire her, choose her Vanguards, and increase or decrease his drive to 2 for this turn. So it sounds odd that happens at the end of the battle, and specifically has to boost to grade 3 or greater, especially because Rogia's plan is to go back into the starter, but that's why you use these skills in a specific order. Yes, when she boosts Rogia, automatically her skill is going to activate first, but at the end of the battle, you use Rogia first to superior ride into Blue Crew, the grade 0, and then use Rimril's skill to retire herself because both are happening at the end of the battle, so you can do them in any order, ditch a card, and then give the Vanguard twin drive essentially. All around, very good grade 1. Again, she's a Flam Glam, so she can be called out by a lot of the Flam Glam support. Not to mention the fact that she can be a 13k booster and get you drive increases, so she makes all around for a very solid grade 1. I like having her in this deck at least a 3 of, but I think I run her at a 4 over my Flame Glam deck just for the sake of having more Flame Glams. Then we have our Veleno card, so we have Veleno Familia Diridone, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Okay, we all know I'm a sucker for butterflies, so automatically you're a 4 of. Auto when placed on rear guard circle, if you have Vanguard with this card in the card name that's grade 3 or greater, soul charge 1. That is on place by any means. The Scaria, believe it or not, has a lot of ways to actually superior call, so being able to free soul charge is great, especially because all the ways to superior call cost soul. And then auto rear guard when it boosts a grade 3 guard unit with Veleno on the card name. So it can be the Vanguard, it can be the grade 3 Restander, or it could be the grade 3 that locks down your opponent's units, either or. You get to energy charge 1. Cool. Nice way to increase the energy, which means you can afford to energy blast 7 more often to get the draw from the energy generator, but also still have energy to use your blitz order with. All around Drone is a very great grade 1 to have. Again, soul charges on play as long as the Vanguards are grade 3 in the Scaria, and every time it boosts a grade 3 Veleno gets an energy charge. Not a bad grade 1 to have. You can run this as a 4 of. I personally like it as a 3 because again, the deck can have a lot of ways to recycle stuff from drop zone, and it also has a lot of ways to search it, so take that as you will. Moving on, we have 4 copies of both our newest way to superior call something from drop zone and our newest way to restand in 1 card, Veleno Familia Agregious, grade 2 NSF 5k shield, 10k base, auto if your Vanguards are grade 3 greater inset. This cost can also be paid by Soul Blast 1 or Energy Blast 2. So when this is placed on rear guard circle from hand other than during the battle phase specifically, so you have to call from hand, CB1, or again if your Vanguards are grade 3 greater inset, Soul Blast 1 Energy Blast 2, to use a card from your drop zone with a different card name from this unit, call it to rear guard circle if it's a normal unit with a greater less anchor to your Vanguard, or put to hand if it's a blitz order. So it can either get you a blitz order or it can help you get rear guards, and again you can proc this before either player gets to grade 3, which is perfect as well. Not to mention that the second skill contains rearguard during turn. If you have a grade 3 get a Vanguard intersect as an intersect type, insect type, this unit gets 5,000 power. So 15k base during your turn is great once you have a grade 3 get a Vanguard insect. The best part is that both of those two abilities just require your Vanguard to be an insect. Meaning if Bushy ever did bring back an actual Meg Colony ride line that was a, encounter deck, like say for example, they brought back Giraffe or they brought back Master Beat of the deck I would hope they would bring back, even though I know they wouldn't, then this card would still proc with it because those are insect units. And then auto rear guard once per turn. When you're grade 3 get a Vanguard, this card in the card attack CB1 stand this unit. If your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 greater, this unit gets 5,000 power for the turn. So ups and downs to this. First up, that just requires your Vanguard to attack into any Vanguard whatsoever as long as your Vanguard's Lascaria. So this thing being able to stand itself for only a simple CB, which is what the grade 3 support card does, is amazing. The better part about that is, because that grade 3 is restricted to the opponent being at grade 3, well this thing again can just proc when your opponent's at grade 2, and it also gets 5k when it stands just like that grade 3 would, though this 5k is locked behind the opponent being at grade 3. The issue with this skill is that skill is when the Vanguard attacks, meaning if your opponent's going to pull a defensive trigger, and that's going to be the things that shut you down, unfortunately you're going to waste a CB on that, but it is what it is. Either way, though, I think she's an amazing support card for Veleno, being able to call itself from drop zone and or recycle your blitz order, being a 15k on her own just by the Vanguard being a grade 3, and as much about getting you a restand while your opponent's at grade 2, and then getting 5k once your opponent hits grade 3, makes her a solid 4 for me. Moving on, we have Crimson Flames of the Apocalypse. So speaking of encounter cards, the promo support card for Draconic Overlord. Grade 1 normal order, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, reveal it, and either call it to rearguard circle if it's grade less than equal to your Vanguard, or discard it if it's not, and then choose your opponent's from rearguard's murder, and if something did not die, you get to give the called unit by this ability 5,000 power. So essentially, draw a card, get a rear guard, and murk something, and if something doesn't get murked, the unit that was called can now hit a grade 2 Vanguard at the bare minimum. And then act drop zone. If your Vanguard's an Overlord in the card name with the same, in your card with the same card name as this card has not been bound during this turn, Energy Blast 3, bind this card and perform one of the following. Either search your deck for up to one Overlord with a different card name from the Vanguard and ride it a standard shuffle, aka ride from the OG to the end. Or, if your Vanguard has Persona Ride and you do not ride from a grade 2 this turn, discard a card from your hand, activate Persona Ride. Best part about that is, this card does not say if you have not Persona Ride, meaning you can Persona Ride twice in one turn. Hard Persona Ride with one Overlord, and then immediately play this order, and then hard Persona Ride again. The best part is, as stated before, this ability can still be proc during the turn this ability is played, because this ability only can't be used if you bound a copy of it that turn. All around pretty solid. Get your rear guard merc, get you a rear guard on board, possibly get you 5k to said called unit, and not to mention the fact that you need to get you a superior ride to your main grade 3, who pretty much obviously cheats it out the second you get to grade 3, so you can be on the end while your opponent's at grade 2, and still have the OG and Soul, or this thing can easily get you double Persona Ride. So easy 3 of, if not a 4 of an Overlord, just because of what it can do. Then we have Compile Excavator, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto placed on rear guard circle from the hand. If you have grade 3, get a Vanguard, choose up to one normal unit without Sentinel from the drop zone, bot deck it, and this unit gets 2,000 power if you chose a card. So again, it's not great, but I mean, recycle Sentinels to take as you will, no more than 2 of. Then we have Scrub 4 of me, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear guard. When your set orders, put from your order zone to the solar drop zone, retire this unit, draw a card. I had an idea of what deck can use this because I genuinely remembered, and then I completely forgot what deck sends orders cards in the order zone to solar drop zone. But oh well, nope, meteorites. There we go. This is something like meteorites or the world cards from Orphis. Cool. Draw. It's not the greatest in the world because those decks do have better draw cards. But I mean, if you have generic fodder and you need them because maybe cards are expensive, 2 of. Then we have Happy Invitation Email, a card I was so tempted to shove into Artissa. Then I realized, oh god, this card's bad. Grade 2 5k shield, 10k base, auto drop zone when his card is put into your order zone other than during the battle phase. If you do not have a unit card the same card name as the card, Energy Blast 4, call to rear guard circle. Okay. Yes, there are a lot of cards in Lyrical Monastera that can cheat out set orders. That's fair. The issue with this is, this card sucks in Artissa, because yes, this does give Artissa a rear guard, but it costs 4 energy, of which she already uses 2 on her own self, and I'm pretty sure the new support card we got this set that calls a Shadow Army token also costs 2. No to this card. If you run this in Artissa, you're doing it solely because of budget and nothing else, and it should only be a 2 of at that in that moment. Then we have hip hop streamer Cyril, grade 275k shield, 10k base, auto and put on guard sword from the hand. Counter boss 1 to choose a trigger unit from your drop zone other than over trigger and call it the guard circle. Again, with the other generic cards, it's fine. I mean, it gets you an extra 15k shield to guard, but anything to write home about, so 2 of attack if you choose to run her. Then we have Resting Perch, grade 2 normal order. Play this card by counter bossing 1. I love how all these are owls. Reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Guardians Owls of Gahul. Counter boss 1, choose up to 3 grade 1 normal units from your drop zone without Sentinel. Bot deck them. If you chose 3 cards, draw a card. So screw the grade 1 support card every single nation is getting, and if you're willing to pay the CB for it, you just get a free draw instead. Yeah, I'm gonna run this over that card. I still want to run this in general, but if I'm gonna run either or, I'm gonna run this, because it at least gets you a draw out of it. So, I mean, 2 of, again, it does recycle units. If you're afraid of deck out, there you go. And if you just want to, like, recycle units in general, maybe for Luard for superior call plays, go ahead. Either way, though, you only really need 2 copies of this if you are gonna choose to run it.
On to our final reviews with today's Youthberk card, which is interesting because for once I'm actually excited to try out Youthberk. First up, we have Unsullied Eyes Youth, grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 6k base. This is the new starter Youth has access to, and it's just the standard. You go draw a card if you win second. Then we have Squire of Spear Strikes Youth, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, honor when rode upon by Sorrowful Ardent Light Youth. Soul Boss want to check the top 5, choose up to 1 card from among them, reveal it. If it's a Youthberk card, add it to your hand, and if it's a grade 2 less unit card, call it to rear guard circle, shuffle the deck. I love how this is a reiteration of the original grade 1 where it still costs a Soul Blast, but it still allows you to get a Youthberk to hand or allows you to get an extra rear guard to board, and allows you to search 2 extra cards compared to the original top 3. So it's a nice grade 1 to have in the right deck in my opinion. Then we have Sorrowful Ardent Light Youth, grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 10k base, honor rode upon by a unit with overall ability. By Energy Blasting 3, you get to choose a grade 2 or greater unit card from your drop zone and put it to your hand. Again, pretty solid because this is the exact same skill as the original grade 2 Youth. The only difference is this costs 3 energy instead of a counterblast, meaning the deck is now a little bit less CB heavy, which is great. And again, it combos really well with this grade 1, who doesn't require it. So I like how the new Youthberg line actually got a full upgrade and you no longer need to use the old Youthberg line. Not to mention the fact that this one doesn't send stuff to the bottom of your deck, which means you get to shuffle the cards you send back. Moving on, we have our new grade 3, which I am 50-50 on. Youthberk Skyfall Arms Rebuild. Grade 3, Twin Drive Persona Ride, 13k base, Revolve Dress Auto Vanguard, and about that he attacked into anything, perform one of the following. Either do the standard, choose up to 1 Revolve Form from your hand, ride it a stand and it loses 2 drive for the turn, or counter boss 1, choose up to 1 card Revolve Form this card from your drop zone, ride it a stand and loses 2 drive for the turn. So either way you get a Revolve Form, the downside is that you have to pay a CB for it half the time, but on the upside you can now ride from either drop zone or from hand. So if you have to go all in on defense yourself last turn, and it's between keeping a Persona or keeping a Revolve Dress. If you have a free CB, you can just Revolve Dress because you're going to be able to Persona Ride. Then auto when is rode upon during your battle phase, ditch your hand card, choose one Vanguards, and increase or decrease its drive to 1 for the turn. So being able to give your Vanguards the drive check back is pretty solid because again, you're going to have that twin drive that you just used, and even if worst case scenario, you had nothing else in your hand at that moment and you Revolve just from hand, you'll still have that 1 card from your second drive check that you can then discard to give the Vanguard an extra drive. And then continuous, when you would ride from a grade 3 card Revolve from the card name, this unit, the unit rode upon is bound instead of put to soul. So essentially your Revolve form that you went into with rebuild is now bound instead of going to soul. So it does cost you a little bit of soul, but again, it does get you drive checks and allows you to Revolve form from anywhere. My only real gripe with this is this card no longer takes a active role in the deck. Like Skyfall Arms, yes, his skill kind of sucked in the form that you could most of the time send back triggers or like lose a lot of important cards with his skill, but at least you could get a rear guard to board or Revolve just a hand. This one is you can only get a drive once you have a Revolve form and he binds your Revolve forms, but the rest of his cards make up for it. I just feel iffy about him not being a super active role in the deck, but again, he's still really fun to use because again, increase of the drive is pretty solid. Then we have Running Beast Fang Sovereign, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, continues rear guard circle. If your binds on has a card Revolve from the card name, this unit gains intercept, can intercept from the back row, and gets 2000 power during both players' turns. Armor pretty solid, 10k booster during both players' turns, and it's an interceptor as long as you have a binds on with a Revolve form, so not a bad grade 1. Ultimately, this is more of a budget card for Youthberk, so you definitely don't need this, but if you choose to run as like a 2 of, maybe a 3 of, depending on space and budget. Then we have Schneisel V2 Electric Boogaloo, grade 2 5k shield, 10k base, not every bunking Dugalik, so his first skill is verbatim the exact same as the Schneisel. Auto input on rear guard circle by any means. Counterboss 1 check the top 5 for Youthberk card available to hand shuffle your deck. Actually, the only downside is compared to Schneisel is like he doesn't get 5k, but his second ability is auto rear guard when he attacks into anything. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 or grade Youthberk, this unit gets 5000 power for the turn. Okay. it is a replacement to Sneasel, because Sneasel also gained 5k, and the main thing with these two is literally Sneasel, and this is almost the exact same. Literally the only difference is the 5k, because these can both be procced when you're at grade 2. But when it swings, instead of giving the Vanguard 5k, who is placed by card abilities, like OG Sneasel was, this card gives himself 5k, and it's not a once per turn like OG Sneasel, meaning when you stand it via Exist ability, you'll be able to keep giving 5k and it lasts for the turn. Honestly, not a bad grade 2. It could have been better in the form of it could have gone to 5k like OG Sneasel, but again, because his ability is not once per turn and he's giving himself 5k when he attacks, and regardless of what grade the opponent's Vanguard's at, it's not a bad grade 2 at all, so it's an easy 4 of. Then we have Armor Breaking Knight Dogarin, grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base, can change rearguard circle during your turn. If your Bindzone has a RevolForm in it, this unit gets an extra 5,000 power, so 15k base during your turn once your Bindzone has a RevolForm. And auto rearguard when it stands by the ability of Vanguard Youthberk in the card name. By card busting 1, draw a card until end of turn. When your opponent calls cards from the hand to guard circle for his battle, your opponent must call 2 or more at the same time. Cool, forcing out extra cards, which is really important because Youthberk gets actually a lot of numbers with his new form, so being able to force your opponent to throw down more than just a PG is great, and it allows you to get an extra draw. The only downside is it costs CB, but it's fine when, this is pretty much just Sneasel, so you're not really losing any new CB, and you're only half the time going to ride from this from drop zone, and because Exist doesn't actually cost CB in its skill for whatever reason, this card's relatively easy to pull off, so it's a solid 3 of or 4 for Youthberk. And of course, we have our new RevolForm, which is Youthberk RevolForm Exist. Grade 3, 200 personal, 13k base, the real Pittsburgh, as people call him, because we finally have yellow Youthberk. So, auto, when placed on Vanguard Circle by Revolve Dress, perform all of the following. So, the first skill is just Energy Blast 3, choose one of your rearguard stand. Cool, simple Energy Blast you get every single turn, get a rearguard stand. Then, your Farmer gets 10,000 power. But if your Bindzone has any RevolForm in it, and you get the 20k to front row instead of just 10. So, you get a Persona ride just by simply placing him, regardless of what grade the opponent's at, by the way, with an extra attack. But if you did get a Bindzone card, 20k instead of 10, plus a Persona ride, 30k. Fair enough. And if your Bindzone has a copy of this unit specifically, it gets an extra credit. It has Zest in it. It is units on steroids with the power. It can be more units on steroids with the power. And at the end of the turn, standard auto ride RevolForm from your soul, or riding with the Revol just ability from your soul. Honestly, this card is an amazing grade 3. It gets numbers out the wazoo, it gets rearguard stands, all while your opponent's at grade 2, literally does it all for only 3 energy, and the best part is you don't even have to pay the energy to get the 10k, it's just the energy is used for the stand. Not a bad grade 3 at all. I really love how the Youthberk support has gone, and I actually cannot wait to try this stuff out. So I'm going to end this one here. Without further ado, I hope all of you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join Twitch, and don't forget to sign up your Vanguards.